It's this YouTube channel called DEMCAD. This guy, he called himself DEMCAD, DEMCAD, and he just post a he just put up a YouTube post, and the name of it was "The Power, Wealth, and Race in America." And this guy, he never touched on race as far as since I've been a friend of his on YouTube. I've never heard him or seen him touch on the race issue and the disturbing truth of it, or anything that has to do with, facts of the racism in America. I mean, he'll touch on it a little bit, but he never really full-fledged made a YouTube post about how, the truth and the disturbing truth at that of racism, and how it is effective, and it is very much something that's going on in America, and it has been for years. It's not something that's really going to die, because people believe that there's a black president in office when he's Dick Cheney's cousin. He said he is, and he don't have the same ancestral past as African Americans. His father's in Africa, and that right there should just go ahead and disclaim everything about him being a black man. But you got people out here believing that. If you got some African come in America and he becomes president, he's not African American. He goes, a lot of us African Americans can't even go to Africa because they don't even like us over there. They think we're sellouts here. So it's a lot to deal with race. Race is something that's huge, and I know a lot of people feel that Eddie used this to divide us. That's true, but any conspiracy theorist, anybody that really follows this Illuminati bloodlines or the bloodlines of the Illuminati, I mean, you could go back far as you want. You could go back to ancient Greece and ancient Egypt. You could go back to ancient Kemet, which is ancient Egypt. And that's the longest history in the world right there, and it's still, Egypt still stands today. But, and you can follow it all through, exactly, make like, you could form your own Bible of the lineage of these super elite, starting way back to the beginning of Earth, if you wanted to. It's out there somewhere. You're able to track it down if you really dig for the truth. It's out there. You search, you shall find. But this, if you really want to know exactly, you really into this conspiracy theories and theories, and a lot of the bloodlines. I mean, if all you really got to do is go as far back as 1800s, maybe even the 1700s, and the main lucrative, the main big lucrative thing economically in that time, 1700s and 1800s, was slavery. Slavery was big business back then, and it made these people wealthy that are wealthy today, especially in America. Rockefeller had slaves. A lot of people say, oh, he didn't. But if you really go back into, and I'm talking about even the 1600s, you follow the lineage, you follow the bloodlines of these people. They all had slaves. New York had slaves. Ohio had slaves. I think I said this in my last post. There were slaves up north. Okay? The reason they got rid of them, of course, may have been a religious reason. They felt that it was wrong. And or it could have been the fact that they wanted to be progressive. They felt that having slaves would have kept them like the Southerners, Relying, you don't want to become reliable to your, to your workers. That's the whole thing of business, is to keep it moving, to keep it going forward. So today, those businesses that's going to succeed today are the ones that's not going to keep workers. They're the ones that's going to get computerized. They're going to come up to date with a lot of things. They're going to, instead of hiring cashiers, they're going to put computer cashier in their business. And they're the ones that's going to get a lot of more customers, because sometimes, people don't want to deal with a cashier. They just want to scan their own items and go about their day. Really, it's about convenience nowadays. And that's how they get you. But, I'm very proud of DEMCAD, man, for touching on that issue of power, wealth, and race in America. I could tell it was a difficult thing for him to do. It was something I see that just watching the YouTube post, it was something that he was obviously excited about. And I could just tell in the way he presented it. And I felt excited about it as well. He got me excited about the topic, and he always present the facts and statistics and numbers. And he, to be a smart brother as he is, it's always nice to see a smart, intelligent brother talk about racism in America. It's just like he said, you can't have a black president who does nothing for the black Americans. Though you say, oh, he's the president of the United States of America. That's true. But from the statistics, there's really nobody truly representing the blacks' interests either. And as from what DEMCAD is saying and the statistics and the numbers, it's very sad that this country would have, or believe it has, a African American president, and these numbers are like it is. But yet the population in America, the population and growth in America of the black race is over the white race. All right, it's more from what I've read in Wall Street Journal a couple months back. It's a lot more black people in America than there are white people. A lot more Latinos than there are of blacks, and a lot more Chinese. And they're starting to grow now, so there's starting to be a lot more Chinese too. And I think I made a YouTube post about that too. The growth and spread, the population growth and spread in America. You can check that out on my YouTube as well. So you gotta follow the money, and you gotta follow, I'm sorry to say, but racism as well, because Ohio is something I think people gotta focus on as well. Just that the switch from when the South was solid Democrats. I think at the time they called it the solid South. The South would vote all Democrat. White supremacist groups supported the Democratic Party. When John Kennedy, when he did what he did, John Kennedy didn't want to get involved. He really didn't. He didn't want to get involved with all that racism and stuff, because he wanted to play it safe like every other politician, But he seen that he had to do something. He had to step in and do something. So he got involved. He lost a lot of the South support, a lot of the white supremacy support. George Wallace ran on an independent ticket, and he ran on an independent ticket with a lot of the South and white supremacy support. Now, everyone knows the independent voters are swing voters. They're ones that you could kind of pick up. The Democrats could have picked them back up if they just did a switch, or kind of like just switch off where they was headed, or the Republicans could have picked them up. And that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly where we are today. Ronald Reagan picked up the white supremacy support and the South support, a lot of it, the white supremacy support anyway, and George Bush kept it going. And now you got Dick Cheney's cousin, Barack Obama, in office. So that's exactly where we're at right now. And a lot of people's like, what? People might not understand this, but just history itself, understanding that racism plays a huge part, just like money does. And you'll follow, I'm telling you, you get to the nitty gritty of what's really going on. You know, they didn't free blacks to really free blacks. You know, because freedom meant something totally different to us back then in the 1800s when the Civil War broke out. It meant something totally different. But for them, it meant wage earners. We can make them workers, and we can make the poor white man workers as well. You know, we can have them. We can have them levels within the workforce. So there'll be managers, supervisors. There'll be people that get paid more. There'll be those who's still trying to figure their way out. And you know, we'll get rid of the whip, and we're going to do this psychologically, economically, and politically. You know, and that's exactly where we're at today. And again, I really appreciate brothers like DEMCAD and many other brothers out there on YouTube that's presenting these facts and these statistics and the truth and just speaking about history itself and talking about the Illuminati and all these conspiracies and making sure that race is in there, as well as following the money as well, because a lot of people would never knew about the compromise of 1877, the Solid South, George Wallace, how Ronald Reagan picked up the white supremacy, and that's where we're at now. And you wonder why a lot of black people are Democrat when blacks used to be Republican. Once we were freed in the Civil War, once we were free slaves, we were no longer slaves and we were free men. I said free slaves, I'm sorry. We was freed men and women. We were all Republican. We voted heavily Republican. And you wonder how the heck we become Democrat now. And that's how. That's how. John Kennedy, JFK, he switched it over. And that's exactly where we're at still today. We're still thinking that we could find another JFK out of the Democratic Party. And the Republicans, they're supporting, of course, whoever supports them, which is the white supremacies and a lot of these corporations, people that made a lot of money off of slavery. So, you know, I mean, companies that made a lot of money off of slavery, Yale University, I mean, these places, corporate CSX, you know, I believe CSX had one of their CEOs try to run for a political position, and I think they got a political position in the presidency, or maybe it was state government in Ohio, but CSX, dude, you know, they're a railroad construction company, and you know, they had their initial wealth started with slavery. You know, just like Yale, their initial wealth started with slavery. White House itself was built by slaves. These are people, Rockefeller, DuPont, you name them, you know, all had slaves, and their initial wealth started from there. So, and these are the same people that support the Republican Party, because they're the same ones that's the wealthiest, and they're the ones that's, you know, of course, a lot of them don't want to get taxed, and a lot of wealthy individuals do not pay taxes because of all the tax advantages that's out there. You know, if you're a casino owner, you're not paying taxes. You know, you're not going to pay taxes. You know, you own some nonprofits and stuff, go speak to an accountant and watch what happens. You know, got to understand business, got to understand accounting, got to understand history, you got to understand what racism plays into today. The Willie Lynch theory, like DEMCAD said, people should go ahead and check that out. You know, I'm really proud of this, man, and I'm gonna make sure you get this video. Hopefully, I hope you do something with it, man, and keep it going, because I support the guy. You know, now he got my support, and yeah, you know, I'm gonna subscribe to his channel on my YouTube. MeetYourDean.com, support the cause.